God damn, I love that screenshot. Okay, well, a couple of you suggested that I should put up a red flag counter, so I did. And with the count from part 1, we're right at about 8. We'll say 7 to be fair. All right, without further stalling for time, take it away, Bernard.
From the time I first came here, and they asked me to begin to teach.
Now, keep in mind, the they that he is referring to are his spirit guides, which he collectively refers to as the Ascended Masters, that he channels for the
unobtainable secrets of how the universe works
through scientific illiteracy. This gets a red flag just because I had to explain it.
I had certain rules that I had to play by. And the rules were that I could not use any higher levels of consciousness whatsoever. I could only use human consciousness and nothing else.
Nope. We're going to let ChocolateHat take care of this one. Ladies and gentlemen, an owl in a hat.
You should start by providing some evidence that there are higher levels of consciousness. Further, you would have to show that there are different levels, and you'd have to show how you can distinguish one from another. Finally, you would have to show that you are on a high level that is not easily obtained by normal folks. I have to assume too many things for your explanation to make any sense. Either your imaginary friends are a lot stricter with the rules of pretend, or these arbitrary limitations are an attempt to lend yourself some credibility for following them. Add another red flag to the count, Smelly.
My fine friend, thank you so very much. Moving on.
Because if I couldn't do it with human consciousness, how can somebody else do it? So we had to play by those rules.
Bernard, anybody with an active enough imagination can do what you do. Perverting history, misrepresenting science, and drinking peyote tea is something that is achievable by anybody. I'm sure that there are 6 hippies in Sedona right now that are doing exactly that.
And so this has been an evolutionary step. I've learned certain things once I understand certain things, like the sacred geometry and how everything is based on that.
Sweet. You based demonstrably false bullshit on equally ridiculous nonsense. What's worse is you're apparently learning all this from your fucking imaginary friends. We get it. You love circles and triangles, but how the fuck did it lead you to such ridiculous ideas as Atlantis being real and, I've tried really hard to avoid saying this, space Jews? Your pointless god math proves nothing. Bernard, are you utterly incapable of distinguishing between random patterns and actual data? Guys, help me out here.
There is no math more sacred than the geometry God uses to prove his existence every day.
That's literally what it is. It's a game of match the shapes and spot the tenuous connection. They try to assign special meaning to the most arbitrary bullshit.
Take, for example, how this wonderful piece of bread somehow fits perfectly into the toaster. Non-believers, behold! Jesus!
Or how the ridges of this banana fit perfectly within my hand. And it fits perfectly in this partially used condom. As long as you get to roll on properly, it's perfect.
And if all of this wasn't enough, witness how a puppy fits perfectly into your arms. The hell was that?
That sacred ship's bullet hole looks just like the butthole you got that shit from.
I thought I told her to shoot him in the head. Whoa, I mean, are you okay, bro?
Just ruined my nanner, dude.
Well, that's what you get for going off script, you fucking bitch. I mean, sorry about your nanner, bro. We almost got him, he said. But what I think my enthusiastic friends were trying to demonstrate is how easy it is to assign meaning to inconsequential nonsense. You're way too invested in finding deeper meaning in coincidence. Is it magic that you can see faces in toast? No. Our species is remarkably good at pattern recognition. It's what's allowed us to see what was a threat and what wasn't. Is anyone blown away that a condom fits on a banana? I'm really hoping not. Is there some cosmic deeper truth to their similar shape to penises? No, it's completely random. Bernard, you're confusing your apophenia and pareidolia with insight. Pop another red flag on there and let's move the fuck on.
That took 14 years of just studying that one thing.
14 years, huh? You know you could have gotten a PhD in literally anything in that time, right? Red flag for stupidity.
Once I understood how that ran through everything, then I knew the language that I could speak in order to begin to understand these other things.
Ugh. Okay, here's something that's been said 1,000 times before, but this time PurpleDan's gonna say it. PurpleDan?
I'm assuming the language you're talking about is itself sacred geometry. But again, it has done nothing but show how distracted you lot are by shapes fitting into other shapes. Trying to match up the Fibonacci spiral to everything and trying to make stupid shit sound really deep. I wonder if sacred geometry could fix this, said no physicist, architect or truly honest professional ever, because it's useless. I know you didn't ask any questions, did no research, said fuck hypothesis, and they've never cared about whether or not your ideas could be falsified. You claim information is science. Submit that shit for peer review. Red flag.
Oh, PurpleDan, such a jokester. Bound and gagged himself to demonstrate something. Red flag, blah, 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 moving on.
And so then the Merkaba came out of the sacred geometry, and we understood what that was.
Seriously, ancient Jewish mysticism? Alright, there's going to be a tiny bit more later on the Merkaba, and an entire video dedicated to it, coming a little bit later in the future. But the short and skinny version, for today's purposes, is they believe it's your light body, kind of like a spaceship, that will help you experience aspects of the 5 levels of Christ consciousness, which has never been clearly defined. And somehow he got all of that from pattern recognition and massaging the truth to fit a narrative. Red flag, because citation definitely fucking needed.
But at the time that we got that I received that, I didn't know what was coming in the future, and especially what I'm learning right now.
Well, Bernard, it's very clear that you cannot see the future. And there's strong reason to doubt what you're learning right now, and it has to do with something you said regarding the 2012 Mayan prophecies in 2008. Take it away, 2008, Bernard.
That one reality isn't going to change, but our consciousness is going to change, and when it does, we're going to drop that. We're not going to see that anymore, and instead we're going to see the unity of all life. And in the perception of that, when that perception changes, then it changes everything. And all our sense of lack, of need, or can't do this, or we have to heal, all those things go away. They just end.
None of that happened. None of it. Here, I'll use your own words from only seconds after your failed prediction to describe what the world has really been like since then.
Can't be. The world is crazy. You know, they're at war, they're trying to kill each other, the financial systems are ready to break apart, and on and on and on.
At this point, I feel really confident in saying that these word salads you've received from your ascended masters are as useful as a bearded bagel. Because when you say things like this,
and this is all history, it's science, it's fact,
you can rest assured that people are going to fucking fact check your information. Red flags. 4 of them. 1 for you claiming to know things about the future that never seem to happen. 1 for you tricking dumb hippies, #hippies are almost people too. And 2 for making me watch almost 4 goddamn hours of blah 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 Mayan prophecy for you to never get to a point.
And so they let that out, and they let that be absorbed into humanity, and it went around the world.
It sure did, and the 90% of the people who inhabit it ignored the fuck out of it and don't even know who the hell you are. Nice delusions of grandeur.
But then later I discovered that the heart was an essential part of the Merkaba.
And here's the last time we mentioned the Merkaba. Micro, take it away.
Please tell us your methodology for discovering such wonders. Otherwise I'm going to have to stick with you simply making it up. And since you have never submitted any of this to any scientific journals, then presumably you know it's complete bollocks. No matter how much you pretend your information to be axiomatic, it won't change the fact that you are actually making truth claims that can definitely be tested. I can't think of a single medical institution that uses Merkaba heart connection diagrams. I would be surprised if any of them knew what a Merkaba is. You may get lucky if you ask a doctor who's also a Jewish historian, or unlucky seeing as they would tell you you're full of shit. To put it bluntly, Science can explain itself. You can't.
You know, he once said human children born after 1972 aren't scientifically human because their DNA is changing, right?
What?
Yeah, and it's kind of long, but you have to see this.
At this point, from what we have been able to determine from all of this, is that almost all of the children that are on Earth right now are either one of these categories, and they really are not human. And they are really not human even scientifically because they are changing their DNA.
That's...
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. So let's add the last red flag and go ahead and call it an end before I give you all terrible fucking migraines. Now, before I could finish the video, I got a shout out from Poisoning the Well, pushing me over 1,000 subscribers. Guys, thank you so much. So, maybe y'all can suggest what you might want me to do for a subscriber special. I know I did one for 900. So, just let me know what you might want to see from me and I'll do it. Now I want to thank everybody who contributed. ChocolateHat, PurpleDan, Isethoriginal, Microblogganism, and of course, Poisoning the Well. Iseth and Poisoning the Well jumped in at the last hour and helped me rewrite a skit that I had to cut because it was seriously way too fucking elaborate and Oscar was never going to find time to do it. But it's okay. Next time I'll write something sensible. But, guys, thank you so much. All of you. Those who contributed and all of the people who watch me. And again, if you're not subscribed to these people, what the fuck are you doing? Where have you been? Does the rock you live under have internet? No? But anyway, thank you so much. And so I don't run into the same issue with Cosmic Grace Part 3, there's going to be no timeline. I'll release shit in between, of course, but it's going to come out eventually. Alright guys, love you, bye!
Does it sound like a gun? Yeah, you try. Not totally.